Looking for clarity and confidence when it comes to decision making for your business? You've come to the right place. You're now listening to the Atomic Business Coaching Podcast.
I am Adam, and I work on the business.
I'm Tom, and I work on the owner.
Together, we are Atomic Business Coaching.
And we're in the business of helping owners. What's up, Adam?
What's up, pal? How are you?
I am great. I am excited for this weekend. Going to do a little traveling, get out and see another part of the country, heading down to Tennessee, to Memphis this weekend.
Nice.
So excited. So listen, one of the things I was talking about last night with one of our clients was not spending other people's money. And it made me think about how many people have this battle of asking for money. And we work with so many people that when we encourage them to increase their prices and all of that, they get nervous and they're not sure and they don't see the value of themselves in what they're asking for. And they have this weird, it's this weird mindset around not being able to ask other people for money. And they spend other people's money. They look at somebody and they go, oh, that person doesn't have money. And they're spending that person's money for them. And we always tell them, don't spend other people's money. And that's what I thought was a really, it's kind of sparked me to think about what we could talk about today and the importance of not spending other people's money. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, that usually comes from either a lack of confidence that you can ask for that, a lack of experience, that, you don't think you command that kind of a price, or you don't believe in your product, or you just have these biased opinions about what that actual market is. So, one of my taglines that I've had for my financial planning business, 642 Advising, is I change people's lives by bringing confidence and clarity to decision making. Mm-hmm. And we've carried that through to Atomic Business Coaching. And really what that is, if you have confidence and you have clarity, you can make appropriate decisions, right? You can make better decisions. And your pricing is one of those biggest decisions you're going to make in your business, mm-hmm. right? If you don't know how to price your product, okay, you're either going to price it way too high and nobody's going to give you money, or way too low and you're going to give, not that it's bad to give more value, but you're not going to cover your expenses, your time, energy, money, efforts, your systems, your processes, all these different things. So yeah, this is an important topic. So I'm interested in talking about it.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I always capture around this mindset of, saying people can't afford my prices, or I don't want to charge them too much because I don't think they can afford it. A lot of that has to do with your own perspective on money and what your relationship with money is. And I've spoken about this other times with many clients about their relationship with money. And a lot of people have a very negative relationship with money. People maybe who did not grow up with money or grew up in an environment where money was always a concern tend to have more of a negative relationship with it, that it's this hard thing to attain. It's this hard thing to hold, to grasp. It's this difficult thing that's way out here that I can't necessarily get my hands on. And I had my client, the client last night, work on what are the benefits of money as a way of starting to change that mindset of not having it, not thinking it's this far reach, and start with what are the benefits of money? What does money really do? And essentially, money is simply an exchange of energy. That's all it is. It's an exchange of energy for time, for effort, for expertise. Any energy that you give into it, money is just an exchange for that. And that's the way we work in this world. Money may be on its way out in the near future with AI and all this other stuff. And I hope it's not, but you know what I mean? There's not going to be necessarily a need at some point for that exchange of money, because things will be more automated and may go in different directions. But benefits of money, changing your mindset, looking at how does money benefit you? And it provides a lot of things for us. It provides the essentials. It provides the money to pay for the roof over your head, the clothes on your back, the food on your table. Those are a lot of the benefits that we get from money. And sometimes we just stop at the basic necessities. We are deserving people. We deserve more and be able to get more. And money just goes to get us material things and do things that we maybe want to do. And a lot of people, I think, that grew up with this negative view of money see those opportunities as never really being attainable. So I'm going to pause there for a second, because what is the benefit of money to you? And how do you see money, Adam? What's your perspective on that?
I mean, look, I'm 23 years in financial services, so
Right.
I have a professional view of money, right? And it's at the end of the day, it's just a tool.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a tool and it's a scorecard. Those are the two major things it is. Now, that's great. Someone who's listening who doesn't have any money is like, go screw you. I need this. It's, I need as much money as I can have. So what are you talking about? Scorecard. Well, it shows you exactly what that energy that you put in, okay? How much energy you've actually put into something, how much effort you've put into something, and it gives you that back. But really what money is for is it's a tool to achieve, accomplish, acquire, and give other things, right? That's all it really is. Right? Back in the day, like you were saying, it's an exchange of energy. Well, before there was currency, right? Before we actually had that, okay, before we had fiat currency, which is just a note, right? It was based on the gold standard, right? And it was like, hey, I have this piece of gold that's worth this amount of money. I'm going to put it in this, this giant vault, and you're going to say, this is how much asset I actually have. Well, why was it worth something? Because you can exchange it and it had a value. Before that, we had a barter system, right? It's like I would grow wheat and you would raise chickens and we would exchange those two things. Okay, but I took all this time and energy to grow the wheat. You took all this time and energy to care for the chickens, right? And we would just exchange those things back and forth. So when you're looking at that energy aspect of it, what is it really doing? It's saying, hey, I put all this effort in. I spent all this time, planting the seeds, watering the soil, harvesting the wheat, bundling it together, and bringing it over to you. And that is worth X amount of chickens or X amount of eggs or whatever it may be. So that's what I think you're talking about the mindset is. But it's a tool, right? Before the tool was my labor could go into the earth. I can pull something out of it, and then you would give me something in return for doing all that. Well, it's the same thing now. If you're in a service business, maybe you're a website designer. Well, there's somebody else who needs all of those services, and you're going to spend your time, effort, energy, and use your expertise to get that done faster than the other person could do, more effectively than the other person could do, more efficiently than the other person could do. And you have to put a value upon what that is worth. Now, what we're talking about with this is don't spend other people's money. It means you shouldn't perceive what my value of that is if you're going to sell that to me, okay? If you're going to say, hey, I think Adam's going to pay X amount of dollars, but I think Tom's going to pay Y amount of dollars. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we are going to pay. It matters the effort and energy that you have put into this and the experience that you have gained in order to give that to the market. Mm-hmm. And that's what we mean by this. Too many people are saying, all right, Joe's going to pay this and Mary's going to pay this, so I better change my pricing or I better bring them more value. And that's not what it is. I forget who did this, who talked about this, but they're talking about if I'm going to go out there and build a widget for you, right? I'll just make it up. If I'm going to build a widget for you, okay, you can actually pay me $10,000 for this widget, or you could pay me $20,000 for this widget, okay? So would you rather pay 10 or 20, Tom?
I'd rather pay 10.
Right. Well, if $10 gives you a 50% value on that widget, right, and it takes me 6 months to do it, or $20,000 could give you 100% value on that widget, and I get it done in 1 month. Now, which one would you want?
I'm going to pay the 20 to get it over with.
And that's the point, is there's a value behind these things, okay? And most people look at, I'll pay less money, and you go out and price something out, and you look at 3 different prices, and this guy's 10 grand, this guy's 15 grand, this guy's 20 grand. A lot of people will pick either the lower or the middle. They won't pay the top. But the reason that someone can charge that top price is because they have put more energy and effort into these things, okay? They have put a lifetime of mastery into something. They know how to do it. That's going to give you exactly what you want, exactly when you want it. And that's why when you are putting effort and energy into building your business or your product or your service, you can't think of what the market, okay, is going to pay and have that different for different people. You have to say, what did I put in? What is it worth? What problems do I solve? And what can I command in return for that?
Right. And that's really where all of the confidence comes from. As you mentioned before, a lot of people struggle with asking other people for money because they don't have the confidence in the service that they may be delivering or the product that they're delivering. And when you break it down the way you just broke it down, and you really look at everything that you're putting into it, every aspect that you're going to put into it, that's going to build your confidence to be able to ask for that amount for that service or that product.
Well, besides the confidence comes the clarity.
Correct.
Okay, so having the confidence to ask for something is one thing, but having the clarity of what it is worth is a whole nother. So you can't just, out of thin air, decide, you know what, I'm going to charge $20,000 for this thing. You have to understand what it's actually worth,
right,
and the effort and energy that you've put in. So that's why I always say I bring confidence and clarity to decision making. So you have to have that confidence to charge that amount of money, right, and ask, but you have to have the clarity that what I am asking for is actually what this is worth. Okay? Because you can ask for things all day long. Doesn't mean people are going to say yes. Okay? You can ask for things all day long and people just may only say yes. You know, Alex Hormozi, when he was, he's had many evolutions of his business and iterations of what he's done. And one of the things he does, he used to own gyms and he used to launch gyms, and he'd go in there and sell gyms these memberships, and he'd work with them on site for 30 days, he'd get them members, and he would get the first month's payment, and the gym would keep it after that. And he built a multi-million-dollar business doing that. Well, what he realized at one point by accident is one of those things failed, and he sold like $150,000 of memberships. And then the gym owner, he came back to all the members and said, hey, listen, I know you paid Alex this money for it. I'll cut it in half. Just ask for a refund from him, and I'll give you half the price for that. Ongoing, like an ongoing membership. And he lost $150,000 in membership dues doing that. And he had people to pay. So he had to go out there and sell back like something else to recoup this debt he now had and pay his staff. So he decided to go a different route. And I'm going to sell this other thing, nutrition stuff and fitness stuff and whatever else. And one of the guys he was trying to sell was a previous gym that he launched that was good and didn't do that. Let me get refunds. And what happened was, this gym owner, he's trying to sell him this like fitness program for his members and everything else. And he's like, listen, what about that gym launch thing that you did where you came in and you helped out other businesses in mine to get members? He's like, can we do that? And he's like, well, I'm not doing it. He's like, well, I just want to know how to do it. I already know it works. I just want to know how to do that. So he wasn't going in there trying to sell this thing. And he's like, all right. So Alex said, I'm going to offer this guy a price that's just ridiculous, just for the licensing his system on how he did it, right, what he did with the ads, what his pitch was, how he got people in, how he got them to keep paying. He's like, all right, sure, I'll do that. $6,000, thinking the guy would be like, screw you, whatever. And he's like, yep, I'll do that. Okay. And he hung up the phone. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. This is just a system on paper. There's no deliverable. I don't have to fly there. I don't have to talk to people. I'm just giving him my system.
Right.
So he told his girlfriend at the time, who's now his wife and business partner, like, I can't believe this just happened. They needed to raise $150,000. He's like, I just sold my program for $6,000. I don't have to do anything. I just give it to him. Mm-hmm. So he's like, all right, let me try it again. He goes to the next gym, and he had all these gyms that he previously sold this. So they knew this program worked, right?
Right.
So he goes back to him, and he's like, all right, next guy. So, hey, I'm selling my product. You remember how it worked? Well, I'd love to do it. And they're like, yeah, I'd love to buy it. How much? And he's like, $8,000. The guy's like, yes. Okay. He goes to the next call. He's like, $10,000. The guy's like, yes. Like, what the hell's going on? By the end of that day, he made $60,000.
Right.
Okay. So he was a third of the way to achieving his $150,000 goal in one day. Well, ends up, he kept doing that, and he charged more, and he turned that year into over $6.7 million.
Oh, my.
Right. From something that he was worried about and failing. And he didn't have to go deliver this.
Right.
So here's why I'm telling you this story. Is he started at 6,000. Okay. I don't know where he ended up, but even on that one day, he was double that cost. So the thing is, you don't know how much your product is actually worth or how much your service is actually worth until someone says no.
Correct.
So that's something that many people are scared about, of someone to say, no, that's too expensive. And then you having to validate that. Well, look, I used to charge very little for some of my services, and now I'm upwards of $600 per hour that I charge for my services. I never thought when I started this that I could do that, but I have earned that ability through my education, my experience, and the results I've delivered for people. But here's the thing, is that I can charge $600, and the guy to the left of me can charge $100, and the guy to the right of me can charge $10,000. There's a reason for that. Correct. But I had to ask enough people. right? And when I asked these people and they said yes, I'm like, obviously I'm not charging enough. And that's what Alex was saying. Obviously I'm not charging enough. Let me ask for more. Well, there's a point that someone's going to say no. And maybe 1 out of 10 says no. Well, then it's still not high enough. Well, if 10 out of 10 say no, then it's probably too high. But if you're not trying, if you're not attempting to ask for more money, you won't know what that market is. So that's part of having the clarity. The other is just doing market research. Just go find out what competitors are charging. It's not a race to the bottom, right? If you're selling a commodity, sure, it's a race to the bottom. If you're selling orange juice and you want to beat Tropicana, you're probably going to have to price it a lot lower. But when you're selling a service or you have a different business and you have something, you don't have to have that race to the bottom.
Yeah, no, I think that's such an amazing point. That story is a great story. And it really is, that's something that I learned several years ago, is keep saying a number till somebody says no. Keep going until someone says no or multiple people say no, because then you have to reevaluate what it is that you're offering and what you're doing. And yeah, yes, products are very different than services, right? I mean, a lot of people in the service business, lawyers specifically, they charge by the hour, they charge these high retainers and all of this stuff. But that's supposed to be their value that they're going to bring to the energy and the effort that they put in to whatever it is that they're providing for you. And the more that you spend, you always get what you pay for, right? If you aim low, you're going to get what low is. If you aim high, you're going to get what the high is. And I think that's one of the things that, especially in the coaching space that I have observed over time, is you have a lot of coaches out there that charge high ticket, that charge more than we charged, and there's people who charge less than we charge. And when you hear the stories from the clients that now come to you and say, oh, I've tried this, but it didn't work. And I usually sometimes ask, well, what did that person charge you? And when they're charging less than I'm charging, it provides a validation and brings more clarity that I'm on the right path, because I know I get the results and that we get the results for people that they want and that they're investing in. It's an investment in yourself, and you have to look at anything that you spend money on as investing in something that is going to hopefully make things better for you. Right. And if you don't see it as an opportunity to make things better for you, then you're going to lose out, because, people can be cheap and it happens. But don't be cheap to a fault. Be frugal, be conservative, make good decisions, have the confidence, have the clarity when you're spending your own money. And then other people will see your confidence and your clarity when you present them with a price and when you present them with the value that you're going to bring. And don't, like you said, don't add things just because somebody said no. Don't think that you have to change what you're providing. You know what your value is. And I've said this to other people in terms of confidence and in terms of their businesses. You have to determine what your value is. You don't have to let other people determine that for you. Other people need to regard that value. They need to see that if it's valuable to them. And something that you offer that's valuable to one person is not necessarily going to be valuable to all people. And that's something that we have to understand in that rejection, in that no answer. When someone says, no, I'm not going to pay for that. I'm not going to pay that amount for that. You have to be confident enough to say, well, that's absolutely fine. Good luck with whatever you wind up doing. I wish you the best, and you move on. You can't take that as a personal insult or as a personal attack. If that happens multiple times, you have to obviously reevaluate. But you have to let other people regard your value. Great. You charge $20,000 for this? I'm sure you deliver on $20,000. But I can't afford that at this point. Is very different than you saying, well, what can you afford? I'll work with you and I'll get you down to $10,000 or what you can afford. But right there, you're cheapening your value. You're reducing the value that you're going to bring, because you're in your head, you're saying, oh, I'm giving it to this person for 50%. So don't let somebody else's circumstances dictate to you what you're going to charge for a service or a product or a thing, because that will cheapen how you deliver that product or service.
Right. And, let's look at the flip side of that coin too, right? So the other thing is you can't charge $20,000 for something and only deliver $10,000 worth of value.
Correct.
Okay. Anything that you're doing, you have to deliver more value than what someone paid for it. Okay. That's just kind of a standard that I live by, that I've always done, is you're going to over deliver. Right. So you already know you're going to over deliver. And that's what keeps people coming back, because I use guilt, right? It's someone feels guilty. They paid me something. They feel guilty. That's all I paid them. I'm still commanding a very high price. I mean, look, this year, Tom and I have signed 4 clients to our TAP program. Our TAP is Tactical Advanced Partnership. That's where we basically come in and we become partners of your business. We give you weekly advice without taking any equity of your company. I mean, we've signed a physical therapist firm to that. We've signed an architecture firm to that. We've signed a water, fire, and mold restoration company to that. We've signed another coaching business to that. That is not cheap. It's $47,000 per year. Okay? So for us to do that, people are like scared shitless. Holy cow, I'm going to pay $47,000 for that? None of those people really blinked an eye to pay that. And what Tom and I have delivered to them is worth well more than that price. And we know 100% sure, not even a guess, 100% sure those people will continue to do business with us in one capacity or another. Either they'll do more business with us, or they'll do a higher dollar amount business with us, but they know the value that we've given them, and we charge them a ridiculous price to what some of you may think. Some of you may be listening to this saying, that's a ridiculous amount of money. I could never charge that. Tom and I have been in business for a year together. Maybe a little over that now.
Yeah, it's over
Year and a half.
Year and a half almost.
Whatever, year and a half. But I've put 23 years of my life into building these skills and education. Tom has put over 20 years of his life into this. It's not how long the business has been around. It's not how long the service has been around. It's everything that comes from that, and everything that you are providing. You have put so much energy into that yes, you command a very high price for what you're doing. So I think that's what we're trying to say here is don't spend the other people's money. Know your worth.
Correct. 100%. And, in every single one of those instances of those people who we're working with in that program, they've invested that money, but almost every single one of them is on track, and some have already done this, to double what their revenue is, because they are working really hard, because they're putting in the energy and the effort to get the most value out of it. And that's the thing that's really important to emphasize, is that we provide value, but we can only be as effective as the person who's willing to put in the energy and the effort to make things better for themselves, right? So we provide this value, and you said the word over deliver. That is one of our main differentiators, I think, is we over deliver. When people sign up with us, they have access to us basically all the time. We use the Voxer app. We use them so that they can communicate. If there's an issue, if there's a topic, if there's something that they really want to work on, they can have that in an instant, in a moment. A lot of the clients reach out and say, I need 5 minutes of your time. I'm struggling through this thing. And we're there. And that's the value that we provide. And we're very confident in that. And we help people tremendously in those moments when they need it the most. And that's what brings the most value. People don't want to just spend money and see you once a week and be good and move on with their day. They want certain things from that. And we definitely over deliver on that expectation. And that's something that I think we are extremely proud of. And that really gives us the validation to charge what we charge and to put out the value what we do, because we know we're always going to over deliver on our product and service. And that's the key. The key, like you said, it's know your worth.
Let me give you an example of that, right? So, one of those businesses that we work with, and all of them have about a 45-minute to an hour-long weekly scheduled session with Tom and myself separately. But one of the, so we're spending about 45 minutes to an hour with them. And this week, I had one of those clients, and we spent 3 hours together. 3 hours, okay? So it wasn't like, hey, you're going to have to pay me more for that, or hey, you owe me. It was just, you spent 3 hours, this is what we did. What we did is we took that gentleman's business from about $100,000 to about $500,000, and we have worked with them for less than a year. Well, now we are taking that gentleman's business from $500,000 to it was like $5.4 million over the next year. That 3 hours was to quantify how many people he needed on his team. And it was 15 people we needed on his team, 2 different overall teams that he's going to need to facilitate a project to get 10 different clients per month over the next 12 months. We had to figure all of that stuff out. Now, I could have very simply said, you know what? Sorry, our time is up, and we'll talk about this next week. But he couldn't wait for this to have done. And not that he said he couldn't wait. I knew his business couldn't wait to have that done. So yes, I over-delivered, and he is paying a tremendous amount of money to us, but both of us feel good about it. I feel good that I gave him the value. He feels good that he spent the money, and everybody wins. And that's the thing. If you're spending other people's money, you'll never be able to have that ability to make yourself proud, make your clients happy, and then everybody wins in the end. So as I said before, you really have to know your worth and make sure that you're finding ways to figure that out and testing yourself, your market, your clients. And listen, if you want to find out what your actual worth is, this is something that Tom and I do. We have a free 30-minute strategy session where we actually work with you to figure out one top priority for yourself as the business owner, and Tom handles that aspect, and one top priority for your business, which I handle. This is something that we offer 100% free. It's a complimentary strategy session. You can go to our website, atomicbusinesscoaching.com, and we will sit with you for 30 minutes and show that to you. Now, as I told you before, we charge about $600 an hour per person, right? That's $600 to work with me or $600 to work with Tom. So that's about a $600 value, right? Because we would each charge $300. We're giving that away for free. Okay, of course, if you come there, we want to help you and solve some problems, but we're going to talk to you about what our other worth is. We won't hesitate to tell you, here's our other program that we feel is right for you, and here's how much it costs, because we know the value we could deliver on that. So know your worth, find your value, and if you need help, reach out to us at atomicbusinesscoaching.com, and we'll certainly help you to figure that out.
Yeah, absolutely. And, one other thing that I want to give a plug for, Adam, that we're talking about, our free workshop that's coming up. We have several free workshops coming up over the course of the month of September, and this episode will air close to one of those. But we are offering a 90-minute live workshop where you can put together a one-page plan for both your business and for you as the owner. And it's something that a lot of businesses never do, is put a plan together for the owner. But 67% of businesses never put a plan together at all for their business. And Adam and I have come up with this one-page plan. It's a one-sheeter. We've talked about it on a previous episode. But we're going to put the link to sign up for that workshop if you're interested. We would encourage you to come. It's free. It's 90 minutes. You get an Adam and I. We're going to go through the business plan. We're going to go through the owner plan. And you're going to walk away with 2 very powerful plans to get you immediate action, to the ability to take immediate action on your next steps forward. So sign up for that. The link will be in the show notes. And don't hesitate to reach out to us again on our website, atomicbusinesscoaching.com. And to wrap this up, Adam, very smoothly, just remember that you provide value, and you have to know what your worth is and have the confidence and clarity to bring that to everybody, because people do need what you offer. People need your services, and they will see value. You just have to define what your value is and know your worth, and don't ever spend somebody else's money for them.